Yes, yes, yes. It's Raphael Dawkins with a Combat Radio. And it is the Boxing Talk with Rafi. 255. And it's later than advertised. But please be assured, this is not the intended new time slot. It's merely the time that I was able to fit it in. But fit it in, I did. We must. Okay. So, with that said, let's get into it. I don't know why I'm playing this music. It's a bit too jazzy for me at this time of the night over here in the UK. So yeah, okay. Let us start this thing with a warm in. Let us start this thing with a warm in video, one that I was supposed to upload today, but for some strange reason, it's locked. It's locked in processing, and that's no good. So we can't get it out. So why not use that as our warm in video for the evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you may be. Okay, let's try and do this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Let me see if I can see what you can see. Okay, that seems good enough. So let's get into the warm in video. And let me put the banner up there so people know what's going on. People know what's going on. So let's get into it. Let's go. Okay. Let's drop the music and get into it straight away. And today, we're looking at the lean, the ripped and ready Tyson Fury. Okay, so let's get into it. Tyson Fury looking in tremendous shape ahead of his clash with Anthony Oluwafemi Olansi Joshua. Look how svelte Tyson Fury is looking. Okay, so some say looking unrecognizable as he shows off the incredible trim physique for prior to the Anthony Joshua undisputed fight. Now this goes in contradiction to Tyson Fury's previous claims that he's on up to 14 pints of beer per day. It certainly doesn't look like it. And if it is 14 pints a day, then what does it really say? Is 8 to 10 to 14? I don't know why I missed out 12, but let's say that he's exaggerating. Let's say it was on 8 pints a day. Well, those 8 pints, I assure you, would be of 8 pints of blended vegetable matter. Yes, I said it. Tyson Fury, if he is consuming copious amounts of drink, then one could only surmise by the shape that he's actually on a vegan blend or a vegetarian blend of shakes throughout the day. That would be more likely if Tyson Fury, I repeat, if Tyson Fury isn't on 8 pints a day, it's 8 pints of blended vegetables, not even fruit, because they pack quite a bit of sugar when eaten in excess. So I put it to you, has Tyson Fury gone vegetable, gone veggie? Has he gone vegan? Because the only way he looks like this on 8 pints per day is if he's consuming copious amounts of vegetable matter. So the secret might be out. The WBC King has been working hard in the gym ahead of his undisputed heavyweight title fight with fellow Brit Anthony Oluwafemi Olansi Joshua, and here we see Tyson Fury with his cousin Nathan Gorman in previous times. Straighten your wrist, Nathan. Straighten your wrist, lad. I don't like. Look how Tyson's got his. Yeah, you see, the wrist is in conformity angle-wise with the forearm, whereas Nathan, you disappoint me, dear fellow. You disappoint me. straighten that wrist, lad. Okay, so former times, former girth. OMG. Lost a good few inches from that girth. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, Tyson Fury has shed the pounds, looking almost completely unrecognizable. What do you mean almost completely? Is that not an oxymoron? And there's a fellow he's going up against. I'll never understand why they put Joshua on the right and not the left. Joshua has fought the mountain bikes consistently fought the better quality, the higher grade of opponent. So how's he on the right? Because he lost one fight? Well, how many did he win when Tyson Fury was on his drink binge? Well, it strikes me as odd. But anyway, they can both right the wrongs when they meet up in the ring. Hopefully this June or July. Tyson Fury saying he wants 2 fights this year. Bob Arum saying that's entirely feasible, doable. They'd be happy to do that. And if you haven't heard the Bob Arum interview, then check my last show from last night. It's last night today. Today is Thursday, April the 1st. OMG, April Fool's Day. Okay, don't be an April Fool. Go to school. Okay. So what else are we talking about? Well, let's see something about Sledgehammer. Wow, Tyson is looking good. His fist looks like a sledgehammer. A sledgehammer? Well, I do have a sledgehammer, but it doesn't look like that. But I get what you're saying. Let's not be pedantic, Raphael. You know what he meant. Tyson Fury has inked a 2-fight deal to face Anthony Joshua. Talked about that last night. Pulev needs a bit of touching up around the back. I was saying, yeah, check out Boxing Talk with Rafi 254. As a matter of fact, rat-a-tat-tat. I'll leave the link in the description. Who will win? AJ versus Fury. Well, Tyson Fury is the favorite, so I'm going to have to go with the underdog. Boom, boom, boom. Only 24% OMG. Only 24% of people think that Anthony Joshua is going to win this fight. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. What's this here? It's got TV fixed on war. Yeah, space saving. Right next to his thermometers, switches. Got a bunch of them. What's going on here? Is this about Fury's dad? All right, okay, let's cover this. Cover this in last night's show. But let's touch on this here also. Okay. And Tyson Fury's dad, John, recently cast out over the biggest fight in the history of British boxing, taking place this summer. That's my best northern voice there. Let's see if we can continue. Let's try and do this in John Fury's. There he is. One of the musketeers, D'Artagnan. There's D'Artagnan. Okay. What's going on here? You know I love you, John. Come on. Don't take it personal. Don't let me have to put me goggles on. Oh, don't let me have to put my swimming goggles on. Okay. So John said to BT Sports, we need to get him out. Whether these Cowboys get the job sorted, which I don't think they're going to do. What have they signed? They signed nothing in my eyes. They've got no date, no venue, no nothing. What does it mean if you can't get a date and a venue? What does that mean? If no one's willing to put the money up, what's going on? What the hell is going on? Okay, John Fury has doubts over his son fighting Anthony Joshua this year. What's going on here? It's all about someone coming forward and saying, right, I'll pay for the fight. I'll stage the fight. Where are these people? Where are these people hiding? words and the voice of John Fury as we continue. That's the position it's in. And I don't think they can get it together. It's too big for what's happening and the climate the world is in at the moment. It's too big for the climate and for what's happening in the climate the world is in at the moment. I just don't think the timing's right for a fight of that magnitude with the state of the world. Look at the state the world's in. It's in a right bloody state. OMG. Oh, what's the Incredible Hulk doing? Traps popping. What's going on here? What's going on here? Okay, that's is that a train? Oh, it looks like a train, but it's probably some kind. What is that? What the hell is that? A digger? What the hell is that? What the hell is that? I have no idea. I thought it was a digger, but then you got that. It could be a digger. Could be a digger, but then wouldn't that be protruding? Anyway, I digress. John Fury saying, I don't think it's going to happen. Nobody wants to put the money up. The betting has Anthony Joshua. Only 24% of the people have Anthony Joshua winning. OMG. And to top it all, to add the agony to it, Tyson Fury is now in phenomenal shape. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the Have Your Say. It's the hitting the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comments. It's the shares. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Don't forget about the live show. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Listen, it could be any day. But keep your notifications activated. It's the Tyson Fury looking lean and mean. And only 24% of people in the UK. Okay. And that was that. That's the video that failed to upload today, trying to frustrate the Rafi, trying to get the video out. It wouldn't go out, but you know what? Got it out anyway. Okay, so let's drop that banner and welcome the people in. You are in tune to Boxing Talk with Rafi, and it's going to be a quicker one tonight because I started late, so we're going to condense it. We're going to get it nice and sharp, nice and tight and polite. Okay, where do I begin? First things first, let's drop that down just a little bit. Let's drop that notification down and let's have a look. Let's see what we're working with. Let's have a look at the menu tonight. As you will have no doubt have seen, the title piece is Eddie Hearn says location could be announced this week. OMG. So as you know, I think they got another 2 weeks to go for the deadline. So that's going to be welcome, and we're going to take a look at that. And what else we're looking at? Okay, there's a few other things. That we're taking a look at. Short and sweet, like I tell. OMG, the Fight Doctor becomes the first sponsor of the show, giving away his secrets. I don't know if the Fight Doctor's got the vid. He would have sent it to me, but so he ain't sent it to me. So I guess, hold on, he has sent me something. We'll check that out shortly. We'll see if it's the vid. That he was supposed to send. That's all cool. And the gang. So that's the Fight Doctor. That's Timothy Thomas up in here. Timothy Thomas, I guess, representing Wales. Let me see. James Jameson, more calling Orson. Come in, Orson. Do they do ketogenic beers now? Ketogenic. Because he's looking trim for a guy on 8 pints. Yes. The Iron Kong is up in the building.
What's going on here? What's going on? H. Monai up in the building. Tyson Fury will not. Tyson Fury will knock out Joshua, according to the H. Monai, and a lot of people agree that Tyson Fury will win. I don't know about knockout, but yeah, Anthony Joshua is the underdog. So whilst I have Tyson Fury as the favorite, I'll be putting my money on Joshua, the underdog. That's where the money will be. But you put your money on Tyson Fury if you got the conviction, my good man. Marveloso, marveloso. Okay, so what we got here? What we got here? Okay, what's this? I'm getting too many notifications. Get out of here. I'm live. Okay, hello and welcome. Timothy Thomas, yeah, we just started. We started late, so you're on time. Sometimes when you're on late, sometimes when you go late, you're actually on time. Luke is looking to dance. He's going to have his dancing shoes on. With innocent Joseph Parker. Has Tyson Fury been to Ibiza with the innocent Joseph Parker? Is that what his name is now? Innocent. And super chat from the Fight Doctor. Much appreciation. Much appreciation. No, representing St. Lucia. Okay. We got the Caribbean. We got the Caribbean doubly up in the building. We got St. Kitts and St. Lucia. Okay. Marveloso. Marveloso. Let's go, Fury. Big boys boxing. Saying let's go, Fury. OMG. We know where big boys boxing money's going. It's going on the favorite. If everyone bets on Fury, the better odds for me. You're totally correct. You're totally correct. I was going to say I'm going to stop saying put money on Joshua. I want to stop saying that now. I'm saying put your money on Fury. Put your money on Fury. He is the favorite. Yeah. Well, hey, we're about to find out real smooth, like. Coming to my town, Cardiff City. Cardiff City. Okay, I got you. We got Wales represented up in the building. It's got Scotland up in the building. We got St. Lucia up in the building. St. Kitts up in the building. Okay, so we got New Zealand. How could I forget? We got the Southern Hemisphere up in the building. Everybody's up in here. Okay, so that's the Tyson Fury. Like I said, he was having people on. He was pulling people's legs with the fat one, with the fat video. And don't get it twisted. He may be holding his stomach in right here as we see him. That wouldn't surprise me at all. He may be holding his stomach in, but there is no doubt that the fella appears to be in fighting shape. No doubt about it. What's going on? What's going on? Bud Crawford to fight Porter. Okay, well, that's an interesting story. And let me rearrange my screen to cater for that. Let's have a look. Let's have a scroll. Oh, boom. There it is. Boom. Okay, so let's take that away. So, okay, so let's talk here. Let me line this thing up. Let's talk here about Bob Arum. Bob Arum has backups for Crawford if Pacquiao fight fails to happen. So there's a lot of this talk around the grapevine, hearing it through the grapevine. But seems like an odd and a curious story to me. Big Boys Boxing says drug dealer money laundering. Joseph Parker, that one ain't gonna come out in the wash. OMG. Big Boys Boxing not holding back on his countrymen. letting him have it with both barrels. Talking about Joseph Parker, of course, and his case that he never went to trial for, but his co-defendants, or the guys who would have been his co-defendants, all got found guilty. They got text message evidence going to and fro from Joseph Parker to the other guys who all got found guilty. How unfortunate, but they didn't execute the search warrants which they obtained from the courts on Joseph Parker's properties and his electronic communication devices. It's all rather slim shady. It's all very shady. James Jameson is going to bat. James Jameson goes to bat for Joseph Parker. He goes, Joseph Parker's gonna change his name by deed poll to innocent Joseph Parker. OMG. OMG. Jakov Gospic says, aren't the Samoan native, Australian, New Zealand population highly involved with the drugs trade? There. Don't want to generalize, but now Parker has been caught up in this. It's not a good look. OMG. Seems like a generalization to me, but I don't know. I really don't know. Anti-social deep drum and bass says Tyson to win. What's this here? Parker, like Huey Bear, was the snitch. OMG. Damn. That's a strong title to put on somebody you're calling Joseph Parker a rat. OMG. I don't know how James Jameson's gonna respond to this. What's this here? A parrot. Oh dear. Squawk like a parrot. Oh no. You have to be accused to be a co-accused. I knew James Jameson was going to come up with a technicality. I was hoping he'd miss it, but there you go. Well, James Jameson, I think he has been accused. There you go. Counter argument. Falcon punch that. What does it say? One of Joe's texts said, it's the best stuff. Trust me. How does he know that? James Jameson about to have a heart attack with the evidence. OMG. But in comes the man like H. Monet. H. Monet, how do you do?
Salute, Raphael Dawkins. Thanks for having me once again on Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. I see you were talking about the heavyweights when I first stepped in. Mm-hmm. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Do you still think that the fight happens? I see that you said Eddie Hearn said there will be a venue within this week. Is that correct?
Eddie Hearn is saying, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we announce a venue this week within 7 days. Don't be surprised.
And this was on a recent interview?
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up as we speak. Let's have a look. We got a selection.
Absolutely. Because the last time that I talked to you, I remember John Fury, Tyson Fury's father. He's been doing interviews saying that, if the fight doesn't happen, Tyson Fury, he's going to stay active and fight 2 times in 2021. So, it gave me a few doubts. I thought it was a few doubts that was put in the air by John Fury. What about you?
Well, we know John Fury over here as being a tall story guy. Do you have the term tall storyteller over in America?
No, tell me about it.
Okay, so a tall storyteller, or a guy or a woman, whoever, a person who is prone to telling tall stories, is a type of person who develops a reputation for making stuff up. Yeah, and or rather, tall stories. What with a tall story, what you do is you take an element of the truth. So somewhere within the story is an element of truth to make it legit. But then you blow the story out of proportion. And that is called a tall storyteller. John Fury, it has a perception. There's a perception around, not just John, but also Tyson as a tall storyteller. Take something with an element of truth somewhere within the story. You don't know where it is. And blow it out of proportion. That is a tall storyteller. And these cats here have a reputation for telling tall tales. Okay, but let's have a look at this. We'll produce the goods. Tyson Fury fight with Anthony Joshua is on for July as Eddie Hearn slams rival's dad over claims the deal is not done. Hold on, I don't want to go with that one. There's a more specific one. When he says the deal could be done within the week. Eddie Hearn targeting July. Location. Oh, thank God for that. My heart was in my throat because I got the story up on my phone. But I didn't put it up on my computer as I have it now. So I was a bit concerned when I couldn't find it. Okay, but there it is. And let's talk about this shiznix. Okay, Eddie Hearn says Fury versus Joshua location could be announced this week. Estrada, Chocolatito, much more. But anyway, let's get to the story we want to talk about right about now. Okay, so for those driving along, can't watch the screen, we have a picture of Joshua, the unified champ, with Eddie Hearn. Okay, and the article continues. Okay, so Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn once again used his Instagram story to field some fan questions today. So here are some tidbits from the session. Okay, one, you have here, the hope is to have a location for Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua locked in this week. One figures that would also come with a date. Okay, so they're hoping to have the location locked in this week. And he's saying that, the likelihood is that would also come with a date. So if they got the location, so when they get the location, they pretty much get a date too. The location comes with a date. The date comes with the location. Okay, so with the WBC's goofy decision making, that wound up with an order for Estrada Chocolate. Okay, we're not talking about that right now. Light heavyweight. Okay, so that's it. That is it. That is the key term. That is the story. The hope is to have a location for Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua locked in this week. One figures that would also come with a date. Boom. Very, very clear and very, very self-explanatory. Very, very clear and very self-explanatory. Mo Nye.
Yes, man. That's some great news, to be honest with you, man. Boxing needs this fight, Rafi. You know, we see the UFC, they have their heavyweight championship between Francis Ngannou and Stipe. Boxing, we need the two biggest names in the heavyweight division. We need the two biggest names in boxing to fight each other for the sport, that the best fight the best. We need an undisputed fight in the sport of boxing, especially in the heavyweight division. This is what boxing needs, Rafi. Do you agree with me?
100%. We need it. But what I don't understand, H-Money, what I don't understand is why we're getting so much negativity coming from, I'm afraid to say H-Money, but I got to say it, it's coming from stateside. We're getting so much negativity about this fight coming from stateside. Oh, it's not going to happen. Oh, no date, no venue means it's not going to happen. What the hell? What is that all about? What is that all about? How about people wait for the 30 days or whatever, 28 days? And then if there is no date or venue, then start chatting nonsense. But for people before the time, ahead of time, saying, no, it can't happen. No, it won't happen. It just reminds me of Noah and the Ark. H Money.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. It's unfortunate that these guys are supposed to be boxing fans, but instead they are boxer fans. These guys are Deontay Wilder fanboys that don't want to get over the fact that Wilder got beat by the better man, Tyson Fury, and now Tyson Fury is moving on to bigger and better things. What is bigger and better?
Yeah.
That's the Anthony Joshua fight. Tyson Fury will get a bigger and better payday against Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury will fight for legacy against Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury, he really doesn't have anything to prove against Deontay Wilder. He dominated him in the second fight. A lot of people thought he won the first fight. And now it's just the people who aren't excited about this fight are the Deontay Wilder fanboys, and specifically
we got Spencer for hire right here.
Yeah, I mean, I like Spencer.
We got Spencer for hire right here.
Yeah, Tyrone Spencer, he's subscribed to my channel. He's one of the moderators. He said no date, no venue means no fight. I understand, Tyrone.
What I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. That's extreme negativity. It's crazy, Tyrone. It's crazy talk. No date, no venue means no fight. Did you watch Wilder versus Fury 1, Tyrone? Did you watch that? Yes, you did. Well, guess what? When that fight was announced, there was no date, no venue. What you know about that? What you know about that? It makes no sense. H. Monet, it makes no sense.
Absolutely. If Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3 was announced with no date and no venue, Tyrone, you will be excited that Deontay Wilder would get his third fight, even if there was no date or no venue. But all of a sudden, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are fighting for undisputed, one face, one champion, one name, and now you're holding on to there's no date and no venue, so there's no fight. You should be excited. You should want to see this fight. You already seen you already seen Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight twice. So we've seen that already. Now, we want to see something different. I want to see something I've never seen before, and that's Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Wilder had his opportunity. He came up short. Now, Wilder, if he's going to continue to fight, he needs to get back in line and work his way up for this third fight. Now, I know there was a third fight. It was a contract. It was obligated. But guess what? The contract expired. And now Deontay Wilder has nobody to blame but his team. The Shelly Finkles of the world, the Al Haymans, whoever that's on his team that let that contract expire. Now, he should be upset with them. As far as Tyson Fury, he's moving on to a bigger payday. So you are upset that Tyson Fury is going for a bigger payday with Anthony Joshua. If you were Tyson Fury, what would you do? Would you take more money to fight AJ for all the belts, or would you take less money to give Deontay Wilder a third fight? I would go for more money. What about you? What would you do, Rafi?
It's a no-brainer to me. It's a no-brainer. That's why I don't understand the negativity coming from stateside. It's a no-brainer. You give the world undisputed. You give the world undisputed for the first time in 3 decades. Undisputed heavyweight champion. 2 decades. This is crazy, yo. This is crazy, yo.
It's the Wilder fans, bro. I think sometimes I like Deontay Wilder. I know Deontay Wilder personally, but I feel like some of the Wilder fans, they can go overboard. I think some of them are doing too much, bro. At the end, what you say?
Too much. They're doing too much. Too much. It's just. I just cannot wait. I cannot wait. We should be celebrating H Money. We should be dancing in the streets. There should be carnivals. There should be clowns walking on stilts. There should be an announcement. There should be an announcement from Buckingham Palace. The Queen should do an announcement to say that for the first time in how many decades, we are going to have two men come together to give us an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Of the world. And you know, the negativity. Wow. I just cannot wait for this period to end. And I just cannot wait for this waiting period to end and then just announcing the fight. Because at the time where we should be celebrating, there are people commiserating. I mean, H. Monet.
You know, it's Wilder fans, to be honest. Like I said, I'm a Wilder fan. I've always been. But at the end of the day, the sport of boxing goes on. You know, the sport of boxing is bigger than Deontay Wilder. You know, before Wilder even came to the sport, you know, there were great fighters. It was great champions. The sport must go on. I'm not going to be stuck on Wilder losing one fight to Tyson Fury. No, it's time to move on. Wilder, he needs to move on, you know, and hopefully we can see him back in the ring, possibly against Otto Wallin, so he can work his way up in the heavyweight division. Because right now, you got Andy Ruiz. He's still a major player. You know, you still got Joseph Parker. You got fighters like Joe Joyce, Filip Hrgović. Wilder needs to get in there and mix it up with some of those other guys. Now, if he doesn't get the Tyson Fury fight, why not go fight against somebody like Otto Wallin? You know, why not go test yourself with somebody like a Filip Hrgović and work your way up?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what he should be doing. I mean, over here in the UK, you know, we got guys like Derek Chisora, who's just hooked up with. Who's he just hooked up with? He's hooked up with a new trainer, McGirt. He's hooked up with McGirt, and you know, you've got who else you got? You got guys like Anthony Joshua, who got new trainers in. And how could I forget? You got guys like Dillian White, who, you know,
Dillian White, bro. Now Wilder should fight Dillian White. I'm sorry, Rafi. He should fight Dillian White.
Yeah, well, damn, he should have fought him years ago. I mean, that fight should have happened years ago, 2 years ago. So that's what we've all been saying. Now, thank goodness, we're hearing some word from murmurings, some mumblings from stateside saying, finally they're saying, let's fight Dillian White. I hope that those murmurings continue, because that's the obvious fight. I mean, Dillian White, he's mandatory for the WBC, but he's the WBC interim champion. So that's a championship in itself, and it's going to take him a year to get to the full championship fight, at least a year, maybe 18 months. So I think that Dillian White would be most amenable to fighting Deontay Wilder. He's got them put his interim WBC interim belt on the line. That is a fight that I think that we've been waiting for. The world's been waiting for. A lot of Americans have been poo-pooing it. Oh, nobody knows who Dillian White is. Well, you know who the hell he is now. You know, a lot of Americans, they've had him in his mouth since Povetkin knocked him out. They've had Dillian White's name in their mouths. So nobody can turn around and say we don't know who Dillian White is now. What's up now? Let's get that fight on and popping. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. And okay, let's have a look. What you want to say something there, H Money?
Yeah, I want to say this real quick. Deontay Wilder fans, you know, like I said, they so concerned about the date and the venue. But I don't hear you guys saying anything about when is Deontay Wilder's next fight date. You guys should be focused on Deontay Wilder not having a fight date, and he hasn't been in the ring for over a year. So instead of you focus on the date and the venue of Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury, you should be focused on the next date, the next fight for Deontay Wilder. Why he hasn't been active, why he doesn't have a fight date. So I want the Deontay Wilder fans to answer that question. When is Deontay Wilder's next fight date?
Yeah. Hell yeah. When is Deontay Wilder's next fight date? Who is his trainer? We've seen the other heavyweights escalate their training, upgrade, bring people in to shore up the training. We've seen people make modifications, upgrades. Where are Deontay Wilder's upgrades? That is the question. Okay, and the fight doctor has sent me this video. I'm not going to show it. I get the feeling I did a video with this, including this video in it. I can't remember which one it was, but let's listen to what the fight doctor sent me. Let's have a look, listen right here. Okay, let me see if everything is set. Okay, let's have a listen. Let's have a listen. Let's go.
Hello there. I'm just after getting off the phone with Daniel Kinahan. He's just informed me that the biggest fight in British boxing history has just been agreed. Get him there, my boy! Big shout out, Dan. He got this done literally over the line. 2-fight deal. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua next year. One problem, I've just got to smash Deontay Wilder's face right in the next fight. And then we go into the Joshua fight next year. So there we are. The Gypsy King versus AJ is on for next year, but there's a hurdle in the road called the Bronze Bomber, aka the Knockout King, and I will get onto him and knock him back out. And then we got on to the big fight. So big thank you, Dan, for getting this deal over the line. All the best. God bless you all. See you soon. Peace out.
Yeah, that video was old though, Rafi.
Yeah.
Now, this video, this was like, I believe like 6 months ago or something, like 8 months ago, when they first negotiated the fight, and they said they had a verbal agreement. But since then, Deontay Wilder, his trilogy with Tyson Fury, that contract has been expired since this interview. So this is the recent interview say that they have agreed and they signed a contract. But go ahead, Rafi.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, you said it. That's the point. That video came out prior to the contract expiring. So it was valid. Show the video. Yeah, I just showed the video. It was valid when he said it, but then it became invalid when the contract expired. I don't think that's rocket science. I don't understand the complication. Fury said that before the second fight. No, it was after the second fight. He was talking about the third fight, but this was before the contract for the third fight expired. How old's that video? Yeah, it's old. After the second fight, but before the contract expired. So I really don't see what the complication is. White did say he wants an easier fight next, though. Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said after he knocked out Povetkin. But do you think he's going to turn down Deontay Wilder, the guy who's wanting to knock Spark out for years? You think he's going to turn down Deontay Wilder if the money's right? Hell no. Even if the money's not right, I still think he wants that Deontay Wilder work. And in comes the man we call Big Texas, a.k.a. Phil Walker. Phil Walker, you're in the building. How do you do?
What's up, man? What's up? How y'all doing? Happy Good Friday. I don't know if you celebrate Easter and all that, but putting it out there.
Likewise. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I'm just listening in. I heard the video you just posted. I'll be honest with you. I don't know when Tyson Fury made that video. Honestly, I don't know the exact date the contract expired either. But the inevitable is that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are about to fight for undisputed. That's just the way I look at it. And any other thing that's kind of getting in the way with that, smoke and mirrors, whatever the situation may be, I think it's all going to die down, just to be honest with you. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yes.
Yo,
yes.
Rafi, I got a question, Rafi. Do you know a Lady Chan in the UK?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna send her the link.
I'm familiar.
Okay, I'm gonna send her the link to your channel.
Yeah. I think she's got the link already. I think she knows the channel.
Yeah, it's in the chat. It's in the chat.
Yeah, it's pinned. It's pinned. It's at the top of the chat. Pinned. Yeah. So let's go through a couple of these comments. White sleeps Wilder brutally. Okay, let's talk about the White versus Wilder. Phil Walker. Do you like what next for Wilder? What next for Wilder, Phil? What do you recommend? How do you see that? How do you recommend?
So this is the thing right here with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder has a lot of opportunities and a lot of options out on the table. The only problem with Deontay Wilder is he has to be willing to lower his price point in order to get these great opportunities that I think are still out there for him. You still have Dillian White, of course. You still have Andy Ruiz. You still have I would like to see him fight somebody like Trezor. I mean, there's still a lot of options out there for Braun Bummer. Just not going to be able to demand the money that he got against, of course, Fury, and demand the money that he would against a guy like Anthony Joshua. But what's next for him? I think a prime opportunity right now is to fight against Dillian White. You know, it's nothing out there left for Dillian White right now. He's avenged his loss against Vicken. He stopped the guy, did it in brutal fashion. Must I add?
Brutal, scary.
Yeah, brutal. I mean, besides the knockout, I think technically he looked probably worse than I've ever seen him. Although he did pump the jab extremely well during that fight, I have to give him kudos for that. Set up the knockout for him. So right now it's a prime opportunity.
Did you say he looked worse than you'd ever seen him? Yeah,
technically, his footwork. He looked wild. I mean, let's be honest about it. I put it in the chat. I said, man, Dillian White's out there swinging like Deontay Wilder right now. I mean, he was. I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, just if you know, my thing is if I criticize Deontay Wilder for doing that, I have to also criticize Dillian White for it, right? Just to be even across the board. But he did pump his jab very well. I will give him kudos for that. And he stopped the guy. I mean, he destroyed the guy. And at the end of the day, as a heavyweight, that's what you want to do. You want to get your opponents out of there. I think that fight right there makes most sense, and it makes even more sense if Deontay Wilder decides to go and fight him in the UK. I think that'll be a great opportunity for Deontay Wilder to cross the pond, okay, get a good feel of how the UK fans are, get a good feel of how a fight might be with Anthony Joshua or even Tyson Fury if they were to take the fight back to the UK. You just never know what Tyson Fury is going to do. But we all know how loyal UK fans are to their to their boxers, and that'll give them a good gauge on whether that's something that he would consider doing again or not. So the bronze bomber to me makes a lot of sense. Andy Ruiz makes sense as well. They're in the same pond. And although I'm not a big fan of Charles Martin, that fight is also out there. It makes sense because again they're on the same team. There's a lot of opportunities out there for Deontay Wilder. He's just going to have to swallow his pride and just take less money. Take less money.
Yeah. Yes. I hear all of that. I think on the point of White looking wilder than he ever has, I don't know. I think that he was savvy. There was a certain amount of wildness. Yes, I will agree with that. But he was very, very savvy. He learned from his mistakes. He knew not to stay in the pocket. He knew to get off, to hit and get off, to get in and get out and not linger in the danger zone. So he was tactically, I think, very, very savvy. And I agree with you. Absolutely brutal. For me, I would love to see that fight. We've waited for it for years. there was a lot of sounds coming from stateside saying, who the hell is Dillian White? Well, everybody knows now. Who didn't know before, they certainly know now with those 2 fights with Povetkin. Both stupendous knockouts, absolutely stupendous knockouts. H Money, are you back with us? No?
Yeah, I'm back. What's up, bro?
Oh, yeah. We're just talking about who's next for who we'd like to see most next for Deontay Wilder. I think the fighter is Dillian White. That's the name that keeps on coming up, Dillian White.
Yeah, that's the name right there. Because, like you said, Rafi, that fight should have happened years ago. Now, Dillian White been calling out Wilder for a very, very long time. I think for over 2 years. So, if I'm a Deontay Wilder fan, I want to see Deontay Wilder shut up Dillian White. You know, get him out the way. I heard the WBC. I think they're trying to order this fight. And if not Dillian White, I say Dillian White is number one opponent for Wilder right now. If he can't get that fight, I think Wilder should consider Otto Wallin. And I talked to Otto Wallin's promoter, Salida Promotions. Yeah. They believe that Otto Wallin can beat Deontay Wilder. They said they feel like Wallin beats Deontay Wilder right now.
Yeah, I'd watch that fight. I'd watch Wallin.
Yeah, but let's be honest right now. You know, Deontay Wilder right now is too far advanced in his career to take a fight with a guy like Otto Wilder. I mean, although I do think he's a great fighter, I just think at this point in time, he gets no momentum out of that. You understand what I'm saying? That fight can only hurt him, even if he wins and he doesn't win in the manner in which the fans think he should. You know, hey, this to me, we've been beating a dead horse with trying to figure out what's next for Deontay Wilder for quite some time now. You know, we're just gonna have to wait and see. My question for you guys is, what's next for Dillian White? Because he's been active. I mean, right now, I feel as though he's one of the few fighters within the division that's in a great position because he's able to lose and still maintain his status, even with the loss, especially when he comes back and avenges the loss. So what's next for him if he doesn't get somebody like Deontay Wilder? Because we all know that Dillian White, Bucks is going to stop with Povetkin. He's going to continue to build his resume and try to get credible opponents. So what's next for him?
Okay, let me respond real quick, Rafi, to the first comment that he said. Now, you said you don't think Otto Wallin is a good opponent for Wilder right now, right? So if Otto Wallin is not a good opponent, then who will be? Now, if you look at Otto Wallin, he only got one loss to Tyson Fury. Now, Deontay Wilder and Otto Wallin, they have a common opponent in Deontay Wilder. So this fight makes sense because Otto Wallin performed at a high level against Tyson Fury. Some people thought Otto Wallin should have won the fight because of the cut that Tyson Fury had. So I think Deontay Wilder should take a former Tyson Fury opponent like Otto Wallin and beat him in a better fashion than what Tyson Fury did. So who else is a good opponent? If Otto Wallin is not a good opponent, then Charles Martin is. Like, why would Charles Martin be a good opponent and Otto Wallin is not? I think Otto Wallin is a better. Let me finish. I think Otto Wallin is a better fighter than Charles Martin. I think Otto Wallin looked phenomenal in his last fight against Dominic Brazil. You know what I mean? So, to be honest with you, why would Charles Martin be a possible opponent for Deontay Wilder, but not Otto Wallin, unless Wilder is trying to avoid Otto Wallin? And now, when we talk about Dillian White been calling out Wilder for years. Why wouldn't Wilder? Why Wilder should fight Dillian White? Because that's a big fight. Wilder been avoiding them for too long, bro. You know what I mean? So if the fight to make next for Wilder is Dillian White. Now, if he can't get Dillian White, if he tries to duck out that fight, he should go fight Otto Wallin. But knowing Wilder and his team, they'll probably take the easiest opponent. Just being honest with you.
Well, look, let me put it to you about this Otto Wallin, right? I've never questioned whether he was a good fighter or not. That's not the question at hand. I've already stated that I think Wilder is a good fighter. We can all see that he is a good fighter within the heavyweight division. I just think right now that just would be a smart fight for Deontay Wilder, considering the risk versus reward scenario. Now, with that being said, when Tyson Fury fought against Otto Wilder, I thought it was a terrible selection. Okay? So if I think it's a terrible selection for Tyson Fury to fight him, then I'm going to think it's a terrible selection for Deontay Wilder to fight him. You know, I have to
but you know now though that it was a good selection. He gave Tyson Fury a good fight.
But still, with that being said, as good as he performed against Tyson Fury, Otto Wallin is not in a position with any other sanctioned bodies to become a mandatory opponent. He you know, if you talked about Charles Martin is at least an ex-champion and has a opponent in Anthony Joshua, who is now a current champion, a unified champion. So to me, when you really break it down and you talk about Otto Wallin, although I think Otto Wilder is a better fighter than Charles Martin, I think when you put it on paper, Charles Martin is going to look like a better opponent to, let's just say, a casual fan, because they can say, hey, he's an ex-champion. Hey, he's worked his way into a mandatory position with one of the sanctioning bodies. You can pin and twist and pivot that scenario any way you can, because at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder needs a fight that looks credible on paper, but he can actually win with ease. I don't think an Otto Wilder fight would be that kind of fight. So the risk versus reward for Deontay Wilder would be too great, because, again, as I mentioned earlier, even if he goes in and beats Otto Wilder and he doesn't do it in a fashion in which the fans think he should, he loses. And if he goes in there and loses against Otto Wallin, guess what? That's even a worse scenario. So the only outcome I can see against a guy like Otto Wilder for Deontay Wilder is a degress in his position, no matter if he wins or no matter if he loses. It's just he doesn't get any momentum with that fight. That's my point.
Yeah, some interesting points of views there. Some interesting points of view. And talking about interesting points of view, what next for Alexander Povetkin? I spoke to anybody who hasn't seen the interview with Xavier Miller. I did, I think, earlier on this week. Was it Monday? I think it was Monday, Sunday or Monday. Yeah, anybody who hasn't seen that interview, go check it out, because one of his points of view was that the beating that Alexander Povetkin took over the both fights has taken a heavy toll on Alexander Povetkin. H. Monet, what do you think? What's next for Alexander Povetkin? Xavier Miller reckons he's took a heavy beating back-to-back, 2 fights, even though he won the first one. H. Monet. H. Monet, is he there? Okay. So, Phil Walker, what next for Alexander Povetkin?
You know, I tell you what, man, as much as I respect Mr. Miller, I mean, everybody can see that Alexander Povetkin really had it rough these last 2 fights. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I respect his opinion, but he's absolutely right, man. I mean, anybody with 2 eyeballs can say, you know what? Povetkin just had a brutal 2 fight with Dillian White, okay? Hey, look, I tell you what, man. To me, Povetkin, obviously, this fight, he was even more, he came in heavier than he did the last fight. So I don't know how sufficient his training was. That's the first thing, okay? The next thing is,
it was about 3. I think he was about 3 or 4 pounds heavier. Yeah.
Yeah. He was actually 5 pounds heavier.
Okay.
So yeah, he came in 5 pounds heavier.
Gotcha.
He actually looked slower. And even with him looking slower, it just, to me, it looked like he came in with a game plan, and Dillian White equalized that, and just like he didn't have a plan B.
Yeah.
And the result of not having a plan B was, of course, you seen what happened to him. He was trying to get inside. He was trying to counter Dillian White. But again, Dillian White, as you mentioned earlier, he didn't hang around. He didn't linger inside the pocket. And again, I think he did a wonderful job with his jab. Look, let's be honest about it. Dillian White shouldn't have lost the first fight. But Alexander Povetkin is a crafty veteran fighter. And he saw an opportunity to counter Dillian White. And he is a hard hitter. He does have a heavy hand. And he got him out of there. Kudos to him. But again, I still think Dillian White was dominating the first fight. He just got caught. And in the second fight, he dominated that one as well. And it was a brutal knockout. So, yeah, man, Alexander Povetkin has had it bad these last couple of fights. I still think he could be a top 15 guy, though. I still think he could be a top 15 guy without a doubt in my mind, because I think he possesses that kind of skill set, even at his age, even with his lack of how can I put this? Lack of motivation during training. I still think he can be a top 15 guy. But do I think he should continue to box? I don't know what his financial situation is. I don't know if he has a bucket list fight that he wants to get before he retires. But if I'm Alexander Povetkin, I would probably get me one more fight, and I would probably call it quits. If not, call it quits after this devastating loss against Dillian White. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yes. He's had it rough. He's taken a beating for 2 fights. Don't get it twisted. Just because he landed that great shot against Dillian White, just because he landed that, don't get it twisted. Let's not forget that he took one hell of a beating in that fight. And then this fight, he took an even worse beating.
Hey, and then let's not forget about the beating he took against Anthony Joshua as well.
Wow.
So 2 fights, but 3 fights. Let's be honest about it.
Wow.
3 threats. 3 threats.
Dang.
So how many losses Povetkin got? He only got about 3 losses?
He only got about 3 losses. He lost to Klitschko. He got knocked out for the first time against Joshua. And then he's got knocked out again for the second time against White.
So he's only been knocked out 2 times. I don't think it's time for him to retire. I mean, he should consider it, to be honest with you, but I think he's still a very good opponent for a lot of guys. And he does got the knockout power. He's coming off one of his biggest wins against Dillian White not too long ago. So, we know in the heavyweight division, Rafi, that, it only takes one punch. We've seen fighters like Larry Holmes become heavyweight champion when he beat Ray Mercer, I believe, at like 42, 43 years old. We've seen George Foreman continue to knock people out around 45 years old when he knocked out Michael Moore and became a heavyweight champion again. So if it's any weight class or any division that I think fighters can continue to fight when they older, it'll be the heavyweight division. I would like to see Povetkin possibly against the Joseph Parker next. I think that's a good fight. I would like to see Povetkin against a young up and coming heavyweight such as Filip Hrgović. I think that'd be a good fight for Povetkin. And Povetkin, even before the Dillian White fight, remember he fought Michael Hunter to a draw. So Povetkin's still been competitive, bro. Even though he got knocked out by Dillian White, bro. I think even a third fight with Dillian White, that can make sense. I think. I would like to see
that Michael Hearn fight was
a young up and coming heavyweight. Lady Chan in the building. You got echo, Lady Chan. What's good?
I think why have I got an echo? Sorry.
You got headphones. You got headphones, Lady Chan?
Yeah, I'm not sure why though.
Hunter to a draw.
No, have you got headphones plugged in? Can you plug your headphones in?
He got knocked out by
I'm doing it how I usually do it. Is there still an echo?
Yeah. Maybe you listening. Maybe you're watching this.
I know why. Sorry.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah. It's gone now.
Sorry, I had it running. Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So,
hi, Raph.
Lady Chan.
Hi, Raph.
Lady Chan up in the building.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, how are you? Lady Chan? What's crack-a-lacking, the troublemaker of YouTube?
The troublemaker in boxing. Oh, it's just me, Rafi. You know how it goes. You've got to know me over the last few months. You know how it goes.
Lady Chan, she don't mess around. She don't romp. She don't skin up. She just, she just lays it out there how she feels. Lady Chan, come with it. Come with it.
Yeah, well, we're talking about Povetkin. Should he retire? Me personally, I'm never like, oh, like what anybody wants to do is what is their business. We're just here to just like say our opinions on that. But in my opinion, I think he should retire. He's established so much in his career. You know, he's an Olympian, he's been world champion. Like, I mean, he's 41, and the thing is with Povetkin, he kind of he took a long, like he was, by the time he started to really establish himself, he was like nearly like mid-30s, to be fair. Yeah. So and so if you look at it in that angle, you could be like, well, he's kind of started in inverted commas, because he's not just started, but you know what I mean. Once getting like the big fights and stuff, it was in his mid-30s, and I guess he could still continue to carry on. But I heard you say like how he looked to me in that fight, in the last two fights, I would think he should just hang up the gloves and kiss the game goodbye, in my opinion. Yeah, he took a lot of damage. He didn't look like he was in the best. From I saw him at the weigh-in. Yeah. I shouted in a comment in Sky on live, and they actually read my comment out live. I was like, I said like Dillian looks like he's gonna come in at the top end of 17 stone, which is good, because that's where I think that we need to see him, because he's always super heavy and like into the 18 stone bracket. And I knew Povetkin's always a smaller guy, smaller in height, less reach, but still powerful. But he just didn't look great. He looked less toned from the last time. And you guys got to remember, as much as nobody wants to take Dillian's win from him, which I think Dillian would have still beat him even if he was like 100% Povetkin, but 100% Povetkin, I don't think would have maybe have gone out as quick. But he was in hospital for COVID, you know, and that's a deep thing if you're hospitalized for it, you know, and it's a lung condition. And I give him ultimate respect for still taking that fight, not stalling it anymore. And dude was strong. You saw how he got boxed up left, right, and center, and you're coming off of COVID at the end of the day, and you are 41, and it is Dillian White. So fair play to him, you know. It's lucky he just didn't literally fall asleep, get knocked right out. And I think Rafi did his team throw in the towel?
Yeah.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, the ref called it. Yeah, ref called it, and it's kind of simultaneous.
It's kind of simultaneous, yeah. So I just think, maybe I think he should hang it up. Like H said, big up H, salute H, and salute Phil. There are fights for him, but why? Why does he want to be like that kind of journeyman? Nah, you don't need to be that. You're Alexander Povetkin. You can bow out gracefully now.
You can bow out gracefully now
with no shame.
Yeah, I agree. He should bow out gracefully. Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you just said, Lady Chan, which is odd. We hardly ever agree on things.
Yeah, that's correct. I know. We only disagree when it gets on to Wilder. Any other topic, me and all of the guys get on. Any other topic, we get on.
I would say this: Lady Chan is a very strong woman, and you know she has a lot of boxing knowledge, and we should respect Lady Chan for being such a strong woman. That's what I think, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, a strong woman is a good thing. It's a good thing. Ring the bell for that. Okay, so talking about, hold on, let me have a look at my list. Let me look.
Cliff, big up Cliff Bailey. He said, I know Cliff he comes on my channel. Lady Shan be the fight doctor on pay-per-view.
Yeah, man, we can set that up. That's no problem whatsoever. You know, fight doctor is a regular over here, regular.
Oh God, me and him had war the other day.
Well, fight doctor, you got the link up there. You can jump on in if you've had your mushrooms and you're feeling strong.
Yeah,
you can come on in. Come on, true.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Raph. I'm questioning what kind of mushrooms he might. It might be the other kind, the delusional mushroom.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of mushroom we're talking about. That's the kind of mushroom we're talking about.
Yeah, probably.
So Lady Shan, you haven't spoken. I haven't asked you about the next move for Dillian White. Do you like the Wilder fight? The next move for Dillian White, the Wilder fight. Do you like?
That would be everyone's ideal fight, but realistically, is that ever going to happen? I doubt it very much. One, we don't know where Wilder is. Two, when Wilder came out of hiding for a bit, he did call out Dillian White amongst other few names. But Wilder's a man that he'll do things just to kind of make it look like he's being proactive. So his fans go hard for him and they're like, look, Wilder wants it. But Wilder doesn't really want it. So in my opinion, the route, I think he should just go the WBA route and try and get Trevor Bryan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be. I think he'd swiftly tuck him in.
Yeah.
And that would be a good route.
That would be a good route for the.
Yeah. I don't know where Wilder is, so like we're always debating, and it's just like it's almost like fantasy matchups. You know, when we do fantasy matchups, like Muhammad Ali against a prime Mike Tyson. Like that's what it feels like. Like it's not ever going to happen because Wilder's he's put himself out that we're guessing is he going to come back?
Well, that Lady Chan, we 2 for 2. We I mean, this must be a good day. Maybe because Good Friday tomorrow. I don't know. We 2 for 2 on the same opinions about that. I mean, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. It's weird. Twilight Zone, Phil. Twilight Zone. Yeah. So do you feel the same? What do you guys feel? What do you feel that Dillian? Sorry, because if you've already said it, apologies, because I've only just tapped in now. But what are you guys' views on where Dillian's to go and where Wilder fits into the mix? Does he fit into the mix? Yeah, Phil, WBA regular. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said earlier, man. When it comes to the Wilder fight, makes sense, but as you mentioned, and I said it earlier. We've been trying to figure out what Deontay Wilder is going to do for quite some time now, right? Let's be honest about it. Dillian White is the guy. He's going to continue to be active, and he's going to continue to do the things he needs to do to build his legacy, build his resume, and eventually get another title shot. So the question to me should be more so, what does Dillian White do next? Because Deontay Wilder at this point, tenure is basically non-existent because we don't have any idea where he's been. We don't have any idea what direction he's going into, what direction he's going. And let's be real, he got stopped his last fight, and it's kind of been downhill since then. So I'm more concerned about active fighters, if you get my drift.
Right. So where do you think that? All right, so we kind of put Deontay Wilder to the side then a bit. So where do you think Dillian's best move should go? WBA?
He could go WBA, but I'll be honest with you. I think he should stay in the same position that he is as far as with the WBC. I think it's gotten to a point now to where they realize that Dillian White is an asset, right? They seemed excited when Dillian White beat Alexander Povetkin. To give him that strap back. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So I think they're probably going to finally mandate a fight between whoever the WBC champion is.
Out of Usyk and Joyce.
Yeah.
Would he fight who's out of Usyk and Joyce? Who wins out of that? Could that be a way? Because there's no point waiting on Anthony Joshua and bloody Tyson Fury. Them two, we don't know either. Like until they just say their date. Like I know there's going to be a date because the WBO are not going to be hanging around. They've already given, I think at the time, 30 days, and that was maybe 2 weeks ago. So if they don't declare or announce a date in the next 2 weeks, then the WBO is going to mandate Usyk.
We talked about that at the top of the show.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I'm just kind of bringing it up now for people who just joined us or weren't with us at the top of the show. So at the top of the show, we talked about Eddie Hearn's statement saying that don't be surprised if we make an announcement about the venue within the week, sometime next week.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So Eddie Hearn is just letting people know that, it's not like it ain't no pie in the sky thing. It is imminent.
Yeah.
It is imminent.
I heard they're not ruling out Wembley either now. All of a
And
sudden.
they're not ruling out Wembley either. So, it is imminent. And Eddie Hearn went on to say, for people who missed the beginning of the show, that he doesn't know what John Fury is
he
talking
gets someone else. Yeah, don't just get just full of negativity, saying that 2 contracts that have been signed means nothing. Well, it does. That's the first stage that you do. Like when you want to upgrade your phone, your mobile phone, they ring you, you pick the phone, and then you do like on the phone, it's a verbal contract. And you don't get the phone first and then do a contract. The first, it's procedures and stages. So once the terms are hashed out, bounce back and forth to each other's teams. All right, these are the clauses. Yep, okay, we like these. And they've both signed on the dotted line. That means there's a fight, like you said, imminent. It's imminently that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. The negativity is
John's negative.
Negativity off the scale.
I would also, honestly though, when we're talking about just Dillian White was next for him, I honestly, like I said earlier, Dillian White is probably in the best position you can be in as a heavyweight right now. He has so many options on the table for him. Even with taking a loss, avenging the loss, he still maintains his same position no matter what. I feel as though he only can go up from where he sits right now, no matter who his next opponent is. I think Dillian, honestly, I still want to see Dillian White fight against Luis Ortiz. That's just my opinion. Because now if Dillian White
that'd be a backward step though.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, but Ortiz would be like kind of like high risk, low reward though.
Yeah.
Like I'd watch. Don't get it twisted. I'd watch the fight. But if you're playing chess, like we say, you're playing chess and not checkers. Like Raph said, that's going back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Reward. If you're gonna fight, if you're gonna go to America to fight somebody meaningful, then boom, it's got to be Deontay Wilder. If he's gonna fight the soft touch, there's two routes you can take. There's two routes
he can fight Trevor Bryan he can fight Trevor Bryan in New York real quick.
Do that as well.
Grab that WBA belt real quick and keep it moving and still be. Have even more leverage.
That's a good option. I like that.
Yeah,
I like.
That's what I've been saying. Hello.
Say that again, Phil. Say that again, Phil. Oh, you got a bad connection right about now. You're signal. Say that again.
Oh. Can you?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now.
Yeah, so Steve would fight Dillian White in the state.
Say that. Oh, he probably has to refresh and come back in.
Yeah. H money. You was gonna say something.
I think he's back. Yo, Phil. Okay.
Yeah, he's bouncing back in and out. His connection might be a bit much, but where he is. Phil, where are you? What part of the states you in?
It's Texas, Big Texas. We call him Big Texas.
Oh, he's in Texas.
Yeah, I'm in Texas. Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah, we can hear you better now. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah. No, I was saying I don't think Dillian White. I don't think Luis Ortiz would fight him in the States. I think he would have to go over there to the UK to fight against Luis Ortiz, without a doubt. Luis Ortiz would
make it make financial sense. You'd have to come to the UK to make it make financial sense. You'd have to come to the UK. Yeah, good point.
But Eddie did say that the next step that they wanted to kind of take was a US fight, and then something US in the summer, and in the winter another fight down that line. So I think they are kind of wanting to bleed Dillian White into the US market now.
Yeah,
why not? He's hot right now, so I don't think like fighting in Wembley, like he's did that already. I mean, not the stadium, but he's did it under the bubble circumstances. Like let's try and push him out a bit more globally.
Yeah, for real. Lady Shan, you want to talk about the no date, no venue equals no fight nonsense?
Oh God, I just explained it to these lot. I've been explaining this on panels and panels and panels, and I don't understand what do they think that as soon as you do they know business? This is the thing. Do they not do these people have any sense of business acumen? Because if they did, that you just need to apply it to boxing. Anything you do business-wise that involves contracts and a lot of money cannot just be like, well, we signed a contract right next week, or this is the date. Everything has to be put into place. This is potentially a £500 million deal for the 2 fights, right? So when people are saying it's just because they're Wilder fans, Raf, and because their man's not in the mix, they're trying to dead it off and down it. Because in some parts of America, they think the biggest fight is Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford is my guy. He's my guy. Don't get it twisted. And that doesn't trump the undisputed heavyweights. It never has.
For real.
So I just ignore them people. They can say that. I keep seeing them flash up. I've already addressed it multiple times. H will be a testament to that. I ain't got time to explain that to them. Let them stay there and think what they think.
Well, I will say this now. If they're speaking from a state standpoint, they might have some teeth in the game. But if you're speaking from a world standpoint, then absolutely the heavyweights are going to win every time in that regard. You know.
Well, I can say that I think the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight, even in America right now, is bigger than Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. To be honest with you, because Tyson Fury he knocked out Deontay Wilder in America,
right?
In America, bro.
Right.
So everybody knows Tyson Fury after he beat up Deontay Wilder like that.
I agree with
now
that.
Tyson Fury. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I agree with that. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Absolutely.
Well, hold on. Let me say this right here. Okay. Now, when you're talking about Tyson Fury, okay, don't get me wrong. Tyson Fury is a major master star. But I can tell you this right here. The last time Tyson Fury fought in Las Vegas, they were giving tickets away at MGM.
Right.
That's all I'm
Joshua, so it's a whole different.
Feels correct. Feels correct.
But,
the only time
I just want to put that out.
It's a whole.
Let me say this real quick. Because the last time Tyson Fury fought in Vegas was against Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, but it was only 800,000 people.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about. Of course, I'm talking about the fight before Deontay Wilder.
Oh yeah, so that wasn't his last fight in Vegas. Then his last fight in Vegas was with Deontay Wilder.
But what I will chime in and maybe think what Phil's going with is that basically before the Deontay Wilder, both Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury are not big PPV draws. They don't get Tyson Fury's never filled a stadium, seats in stadiums, arenas. AJ has. Do you understand? He's done 90,000. Even Carl Froch did 80,000. Do you know what I mean? So like they're not massive PPV draws unless you get them actually in the fight that everybody wants to see. I'm not saying if Fury fights Wilder again, I think that will do like at least probably about 1 million PPVs because people have been so invested in this over the last flipping year. I guess that would, but guys, everybody has to.
I don't know. I think the most people expect it to do is like double. And how much do you do? 200 and
the first fight was like 300,000, and then the second was 800. Second was 800, and 800 PPVs, but the seats it wasn't sold out seat wise.
Well, let me make this point real quick because when Anthony Joshua fought against Andy Ruiz in New York City, that he lost that fight. Now everybody heard about Anthony Joshua getting beat by Andy Ruiz. So even though Anthony Joshua lost that fight, that made him a bigger star when he lost. Now everybody was talking about Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua. Everybody remembers that. So now when you take Anthony Joshua's biggest fight in America against Andy Ruiz, that's bigger than any fight that Terrence Crawford was in, and it's bigger than any fight that Errol Spence was in. Now, yes, and now if you can compare Tyson Fury's last fight against Deontay Wilder, that's bigger than any pay-per-view that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford ever did.
True. Fact.
Yeah, so obviously this will be a bigger fight because now Tyson Fury is a superstar in America after he knocked out Deontay Wilder. Now he's a superstar. And AJ, he's a star now, you know, after he came back and beat Andy Ruiz. So if you get both of these guys together and you make a super fight, that's going to generate a lot of numbers. Yes.
Yeah, I agree that it's going to generate a lot of numbers. And just my humble opinion, when you talk about stateside, I think a lot of people will get up and be excited for Earl Spence versus Bud Crawford. Now,
I am.
More people in America. Listen, let me say this. More people. Let me say this. One thing. I'm about to step off. I'm about to step off because more people in America know Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. More people in America. Well, hold up, bro. More people in America know who Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is than Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. More people know who Tyson Fury is than Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford in America. Facts.
Okay. Let me say what I need to say. Thank you, sir. All right. As I was saying, I think people stateside will get up and they will be excited about the Earl Spence Jr. and fight. Now,
Phil, we can't hear you. Phil, we can't hear you.
Phil, your signal has cut out the game, my friend.
He's talking, but it's faded out. Phil.
Phil.
And him just like talk, like he.
Phil. You're Phil.
You can't hear us, fam.
I'm waving at you, Phil.
Woohoo. Phil, come back to the mic. We couldn't hear anything.
Let me remove him.
Remove him and let him come back out. Now, I was just about to say what James Jameson said as well. AJ sold out Madison Square Gardens literally in record time. Like anytime there's an AJ fight on, anytime his tickets sell off in like within an hour. Some within minutes. Like this super fight. Rafi, would you go once they announce it? Would you go? Because I want to go. I'm waiting for the date so bad so I can go. But I may not be able to get a ticket to the fight. If I'm not able to get a ticket to the fight and it's in Saudi, I'm definitely still just going to go to Saudi and just be in the whole ambience of it all.
Well, you're gonna go to the
Fury and AJ, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Even in this COVID era, you still got the shillings to do that.
Yeah, I'd pay down on it. If it's going to be in like say it's in ending of July, you just put down like a good old deposit now, like try and clear half of it, and then towards the end of it, by the
this year 2021 for me is rebuilding, man. I need to rebuild. I can't splurge. I'm rebuilding in 2021. I ain't gonna do nothing.
I'm trying to really go. I get it. I ain't
gonna do nothing.
It's making me look. It's giving me something to look forward to, though, in this because these last 2 years have been dead. So for me, that's something to kind of look forward to. For me, to like have a little treat. Like,
my bad, man. I got a phone call. I don't know where I left off at.
No problem. Just say what you were saying.
You said the Errol Spence thing and stuff.
Errol Spence.
I was saying that, as far I think stateside, I think honestly, obviously people want to see the Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury undisputed, right? But I think stateside, when you talk about Earl Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford, I think we have been discussing that fight for quite some time here stateside. People will get excited about that fight. Let's be real. The two most talked about fights on YouTube are those two fights. AJ Fury, Bud Crawford, and Earl Spence.
Hold on. Why are we even talking
like the Bud Crawford?
Hold on. Why are we even talking about Earl Crawford and Bud Spence when that fight? Why are we actually talking about it? It's just occurred to me. Why are we talking about it? It's talking about Santa Claus.
No, because I mentioned
somebody raised the point that
I mentioned it.
That people are saying that fight is bigger. I do think if you talk about stateside, you may have a point, but on a world level, I think that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is obviously the clear choice, is what I'm saying.
Right.
But at the same time, when H Money was talking about Anthony Joshua losing a fight, that making him a bigger star here in the States, look, my whole thing is this right here. Anthony Joshua has been a mega star for quite some time now. I don't think the loss to Andy Ruiz had anything to do with elevating or taking some air out of what his status is. Now, if you want to make the point that Andy Ruiz became a very well-known and fighter after the AJ win, then you can make that argument. But he's been always what he's been, and that's the start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So especially when you're talking about on the world level, that's why he fights all over the world. Fights in the UK. He's had fights in the States.
Phil, sorry to cut you, brother. I've just seen Lisa. Lisa, come through. Lisa's my girl. She my tag team partner. Come in, Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa's my girl as well, though.
We love. I adore Lisa.
I
adore her.
Lisa.
Yeah, I adore her energy. I adore her knowledge. I say to her, Lisa, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. I love Lisa. She's always got a good vibe. Comes in.
Yeah, 100%. Lisa comes on through. Lucy's been there multiple times. Lisa come on through. Lisa come on through. But Phil,
sorry, Phil. Sorry to cut you, Phil.
No.
But you know, it's just occurred to me. What we're essentially saying is that a fairy tale fight might be big as well as a real fight. Real fight that's happening now. The fairy tale fight. I don't even talk about that fight no more because they don't want it. It's fairy tale business.
Yeah, it's fantasy boxing. It's
exactly. And that's just kind of where I'm at with it. I just decided to, Miss Chan mentioned it. I just started to say, hey, look, if you think it's going to be a massive fight stateside, you may have a point. But on the world level, I mean, it's without a doubt, it's an easy choice. It's going to be the heavyweights. It's going to be undisputed. And it's going to be one of the biggest fights in history. So, and that's just, you have to think about the historical value that this is going to have. You have two guys from the same country, the United Kingdom, and right now they're fighting for undisputed. You have a controversial guy in Tyson Fury, and you got a clean-cut guy that does everything right. So it's a historical fight, and we hadn't had undisputed in over 20 years, and that's just it's going to be hard to beat that on any level, no matter who is going to fight at any weight class outside of the heavy. Period.
Yeah, but that's but this is when you speak like that, like it's because you're a fan of the sport. It's when someone just becomes a fan of just of a specific fighter. That's where it gets all toxic. So, I say it time and time again. Like, I don't really rock with, I don't really rock with Tyson Fury. I don't really rock with Wilder. I do rock with AJ, but I'm not trying to tell people not to rock or root for their favorite fighter. All I want people to do is just move factual and logical. It's when it just gets because this is your favorite fighter, it negates facts. And that's where we always get up in arguments where I have to argue with people. It's no, because that's not true. Root for who you want to root for. But you get into, you start treading in muddy waters when you think Deontay Wilder is bigger than the sport of boxing.
For real. But you know something? We're gonna have to take a little looky. We have to move it on, take a little looky at this story. Bob Arum has backups for Crawford if Pacquiao fight fails to happen. Now, this whole thing seems like a bowl of cockamamie.
Oh, no.
It seems like a bowl of cockamamie. First of all, it just seems like a bowl of nonsense. First of all, we're talking about backup plans for Crawford if Pacquiao fight fails. What do you mean? What Crawford and Pacquiao fight are you talking about?
Right.
What nonsense is this, bro? I want to go to Phil first because Phil is stateside. I'm wondering, Phil, what is this? It just seems like total and utter nonsense. There don't seem to be no rhyme or reason to it. What's going on?
Yeah, I can tell you this right here. Bob Arum has been in negotiations with Pacquiao for quite some time, trying to get the ball rolling on the fight. But let's be honest about it. Bob Arum will say pretty much anything, right? To get people talking, right? I think this right here, this scenario that we're running into, is Bob Arum trying to get the temperature if Pacquiao can be a possible opponent for Crawford, because Pacquiao is demanding a massive amount of money. Now, with this little bitty bee buzzing around everybody's ears, annoying them, because this is what it is. It's a bee that's annoying everybody. and talking about the Pacquiao and Crawford fight, he's going to see what kind of movement he gets, so he can actually make Pacquiao a reasonable offer related to what Pacquiao wants.
And that's 40 million. And where's he getting this 40? He didn't even want to pay. He doesn't even want to pay Teofimo his money. He don't want to pay no one his money. So how's he going to pay the 40 million that Pac-Man wants? Well, how's this happening? Like everyone's talking about this fight happening.
Bob Arum does have the funds to pay Pacquiao, but the thing about it is Bob Arum's greedy. Bob Arum doesn't want to do work and not be compensated for his work. You understand what I'm saying? He's out of the business of making his historical strides, right? He doesn't want to have the young kid fight against the old bull. A legacy. He doesn't want to have a legacy fight for both of these guys. Let's be honest. That's what it is, right? A legendary fight that can happen here, right? And the shock value for after this fight happened is what's most important. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Where does it go? Yeah.
So, Bob Arum, again, he's just put it out there because he wants that little bitty bee that's flying around everybody's ear, annoying them. That may sting you, he may not, he may go away. You never know what the bee gonna do. And I just think that's kind of his gauge on to see if he can get close to that number that Pacquiao wants. As far as I'm concerned, the backup opponent is probably the actual opponent at this point, because the Pacquiao fight has not been announced and it's null and void. Like it's not real. It's fake.
That's what I've been saying.
Opponent, unless he can get the kind of feedback that he wants in order to pay Pacquiao. And I think Pacquiao will take the fight for the right amount of money. Bob Arum is just going to have to get close, very close to that.
Close to the 40 million, yeah. But the thing is, I'm finding that Pacquiao's kind of moving a bit sketchy for such a legend. His name's over the last few months just been tied to too many what if fights.
Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia? Wasn't he supposed to be
Ryan
Garcia?
Yeah, Ryan Garcia.
No, that was never.
Yeah, but what I mean, his name's still being tied to like 5 different fighters in it's just silly and nothing comes to pass. It's just like, Pac-Man, what are you doing? Like, why are you allowing this? Like, no one should be posting you on Instagram saying it's Pac-Man v Ryan Garcia exhibition fight. How was that allowed to even be put out if that wasn't even actually signed and sealed? And then
you can't stop people writing what they're writing, but you can't come out and deny the allegations.
Yeah, then he didn't do that. It was like Ryan Garcia posted it up and everyone was like, yay, I even reported on it. And then, then it was nothing. And then Terence Crawford was a possibility. Errol Spence was a possibility. Who else? Was a couple other cats that was a possibility as well.
Hey, let's be honest about this, right? So Pacquiao, right? Pacquiao is right now is in a good position because he can fight anybody he wants to fight. Okay, everybody wants to fight him, as we just mentioned. His name has been headlined on every YouTube channel with every fighter with any kind of relevance to their name, right? So Pacquiao is just kind of being quiet, just kind of sitting back. We don't know what Pacquiao is truly about to do. We don't know what he's thinking. His name has been tied to several different fighters. But I do know one thing: Pacquiao is smart. Okay, Pacquiao is a smart guy. Okay, the fight with Mayweather proves though that he's a smart guy because him holding out got him an extra $100 million or something like that. So he's a smart guy, and I think he's going to make the right decision. And all these people calling out these different names, I don't think it has anything to do with Pacquiao. He's going to step back to pursue the best option for him logically for his career as him being a boxer, and of course, at the end of the day, his pocket.
Okay, but then Phil, like, he allowed himself to become champion recess. So like he got the belt the last time he fought when he got the WBA belt from Furman in like summer, not 2019, July 2019 or whatever. He never fought since then. And then obviously, all right, pandemic, chuck that in. Everybody chucks that in just as a buffer, because loads of people still fought. If you're big in this, you still get to fight. Yeah. But why allow himself to be stripped, champ in recess, and then just to say, oh, I want to fight this one and that one and that one? It just doesn't make no sense to me. So in my opinion, this is just an opinion, by the way, it's not facts. I just think that Pacquiao just wants one massive big payday and he's out.
Yeah.
Because if you cared about the belt, you wouldn't have allowed it to be stripped. You would have said, you know what? Once the WBA was giving him the warnings, like, if you're not going to do anything, we'll take it away. He would have then moved proactively to make sure that that didn't happen. And then, if he really wanted to continue for a while in boxing, he can bow out as well. I just think he wants one massive payday. He's a politician he's a senator in his homeland of Philippines. And I just think he said he wants to help with the coronavirus funds and stuff like that. I just think he wants a massive payday, and then he'll be riding off into the sunset. But just make the bloody fight, and we love you, Pac-Man. Make the fight. We'll all support it, and we'll all say bye when you're going.
Yeah.
I think Manny Pacquiao right now, again, he is a champion in recess right now, right? But I can best assure you, if Pacquiao steps to that ring with, let's just say, Terrence Bud Crawford, he's going to be holding. He's going to be, but it's not that he. I'm not going to give my opinion whether I think he's going to win or lose. But I will say, if he does step into that ring, he's going to have the WBA belt, recess or not. Yeah, I've seen the WBA upgrade somebody the night of the fight when they did with Tank Davis and gave him the belt, and the other guy actually had the title. So the WBA is going to give him the belt back, right? Just think right now that's just a technicality because he is basically on hold, right? But yeah, you might have a point to where I do think he is looking for a massive payday. This is the key though with the massive payday. He has one more fight with PBC. Okay, he has one more fight with PBC, and I think whatever fight he gets after his last fight with PBC will be his massive payday.
True. Okay. Because and you all know PBC and WBA, they're all in cahoots. When you look at the WBA rankings, like half of their, 3/4 of the fighters in there are all PBC fighters. But then when you check those same fighters in other rankings, WBO, WBC, that they're hardly ranked. So you can see there's some kind of cahoots going on with them. So you're right regarding if Manny Pacquiao does want to come back and do things, they'll hand him back the belt and be like, Ugas, you just chill over there, mate. They'll make some spin and they'll just make a new belt for Manny, the champion recess belt.
Yeah. It's funny as hell. It's a mess. I don't know what to make about it. I don't know what to make of it. It's just like a soap opera. Bob Arum, Crawford, Spence, Pacquiao. It's like is this a sport or is this Shiznick's some kind of soap opera? H-Mo-Night.
Yeah, I want to pick up from where I left off. I had fell off for a second because the brother Phil said something about Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence being bigger in America than the undisputed heavyweight championship. Well, let me speak, bro. Hold up, bro. Let me speak, bro. I'll let you talk, bro. First of all, hold on, let me peace. I've been waiting. I've been quiet the whole time.
Let H Money say what he's saying. Phil, you have the right to reply.
First of all, we know Earl Spence, his pay-per-view buy's been dropping every time he fights. Like his highest was against Mikey Garcia. Then it dropped to 300,000 against Sean Porter. Then he did, a disappointing 200,000 pay-per-view buys against Danny Garcia. Now, we know Terrence Crawford, his pay-per-view buys aren't that good. His last fight was on ESPN, regular television. So with that being said, you're talking about Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence when we know that fight ain't going to happen. That's a fantasy fight. Like Lady Chan said, why are you talking about a fight that won't even happen? To belittle the undisputed heavyweight championship. Earl Spence said, Terrence, I don't want to fight Terrence Crawford. I'm going to go take the easy route and go fight Danny Garcia. That what Earl Spence said. And recently in an interview, Terrence Crawford said the Earl Spence fight is off. It will never happen. So why would you even mention a fight that would never happen? That's a bad comparison.
So let me tell you what actually happened, H Money. I don't know if you stepped off, you didn't hear what went down, but what I said was, okay, I said that if people feel as though the Terrence Crawford and the Earl Spence fight is big stateside, they may have a point. Okay. Now on the world scale, it's hands down the undisputed heavyweight championship. Okay. I've never diminished the undisputed heavyweight championship. Never downplayed it, not once. I'm excited about it myself. I didn't bring up the fight. What I was doing was I commented to something that Lady Shan said about other people's channels trying to make the comparison that the Earl Spence fight and the Bud Crawford fight is just as big as the undisputed fight. And all I did was say, well, if they're talking about stateside, if they're here in the States, you know, they may feel that way. That's just their opinions. But it's no doubt about it when you're talking about on a world scale for undisputed. I even talked about the historical value that the undisputed fight is going to have, not having undisputed within the last 20 years, two guys being from the UK, one guy being controversial, the other guy being such a clean-cut guy that does everything right. The people's champ is what I would call him, and Anthony Joshua. That's the biggest fight that can be made within the last 20 years. I don't know if you heard that or not, H Money, and this is what I was trying to explain to you before you got extremely hostile before you made your point.
I'm not. That's just how I talk. I don't mean any harm, bro.
So I mean, at the end of the day, absolutely, I agree that the undisputed fight is the biggest fight to be made, not just in boxing, but one of the biggest fights to be made in boxing history, and I've already expressed that.
Yeah, but all I was saying was that we know the Earl Spence Terrence Crawford fight.
The Spence v Crawford is a fantasy fight.
Exactly.
Like I said earlier, it's not a real fight. It's a fantasy fight. The biggest fight inside the USA, outside the USA, on the moon, Mars, wherever they can get the reception from the zone, or ESPN Plus, whoever's showing it's going to be some joint production. We know where the biggest fight on the planet is. We know what it is right about now. It's the heavyweight matchup between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury for undisputed. It's coming. It's happening. The negativity, the naysayers, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. They need to shake their head. We've come to the end of a very vibrant show. So what I'm going to do is give my appreciation for all the people who took time out of their day to come on over. You know, the Rafi went live a little later than usual, but thank you for your patience. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for your support. And not only that, but thank you everybody who took time out of your day to jump on the panel. And as we usually do, we go around the panel and let everyone have their final say. Lady Shan, good to have you over here for the first time. Don't be a stranger.
Definitely not. I massively appreciate it, Rafi, for you allowing me to be on your show. I won't be a stranger. I'm definitely going to keep the link.
Keep the link tight.
100, I promise. Big up to everyone on the chat. Big up to everybody that's come in, that are active on your comments as well, Rafi. Yeah, thanks for allowing me on, and I'll see everybody sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later. That was Lady Chan. Go and say hello to her. She's very welcoming. And much appreciation goes out to the Lady Shan. And then there were three. The Phil Walker. Much appreciation. Thanks for dropping in and with your perspectives and your final words, sir.
Yeah, man. You know, we have an opportunity right now, man, to get some good things out of boxing. We got Undisputed coming up in heavyweights. We got Undisputed at 140 pounds. Possibly we got a trilogy fight with Estrada and Chocolatito. I mean, we got a lot of good things going on in boxing, and I just wish people would focus on the positive things that's going on in boxing versus the negative things. You know, I see way too many YouTube videos about negativity in the sport of boxing. If you're trying to grow it, just talk about the positive stuff. It's much easier. Trust me on this. Look, man, at the end of the day, I appreciate everybody tuning in to Combat Radio with Raphael Dawkins. I appreciate you allowing me to come on your panel to speak. As always, you guys make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. There's always nothing but love and respect coming from me over here in Texas, man. And if you want to follow me, man, you can find me on my Instagram, man. It's the Fix, THAAA_FIX, or on Facebook, man, Phil Walker. Again, man, I appreciate everybody, man. Thank you, man. Hey, let's be positive about boxing, man. Good evening.
Hey, 100%, and that was the Phil Walker. Much appreciation goes out to the Phil Walker. Big Texas, we call him over here. Big Texas, and of course, the H-Mo Knight. H-Mo Knight, your final word, sir. Thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely, Rafi. Thank you for the opportunity once again. Everybody hit the like button. Subscribe to Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio right now. You know, it was a great show, man. We talked about everything from the undisputed heavyweight championship with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, the biggest fight in boxing. You know, like I said earlier, man, it's only fanboys, Deontay Wilder fanboys, that don't want to see this undisputed fight. You know, those same people saying, oh, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua is not a big fight in America. Those are the same guys that said Tyson Fury had loaded gloves. These are the same guys that saying Deontay Wilder is their king. These are the same people saying the undisputed fight is not big in America. When you look at the numbers, right? Tyson Fury's, his biggest pay-per-view in America is bigger than Earl Spence, biggest pay-per-view in America. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, their second fight, did over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. Compare that to Earl Spence, biggest pay-per-view against Mikey Garcia. Tyson Fury is a bigger pay-per-view attraction in America than Earl Spence. Like I said, it's only fanboys. The fanboys, LDBC fanboys, are the ones that's trying to downplay the fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, man. That's all I had to say. Shout outs to Raphael Dawkins. Shout outs to Lady Chan. And shout outs to Phil Walker. Everybody follow me right now on Instagram, H Money Boxing. And follow me on YouTube right now. Subscribe to my channel, H Money Boxing. Thank you for having me.
And that was the H-Mo Knight. Thank you to the H-Mo Knight, the Phil Walker, the Lady Shan. They all got their social medias out there, their YouTube channels out there. And so much appreciation goes out to them for taking out time out of their day to come over here to make our day and your day and my day and everybody's day. Okay, nice action-packed show. Started a little bit later than anticipated, than expected, but we still got it in there. We still got that shiznix done. And I hope you all enjoyed yourself. And once again, I'd like to give out a shout-out. I always like to give out a shout-out to the sponsor of the show. The special sponsor of the show. You know how you can sponsor the show is hit that super chat button and you become an automatic sponsor of the show. And I'm just looking for the name now. Let's see if I can get slick with it. Let's see if I can get slick with it and pull it up immediately. And it was the Fight Doctor. The Fight Doctor was the official sponsor of the show. So much appreciation to everybody. And tune in for the next show and the next show and the next show. Thanks to all. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comments. It's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon. So I think we covered We covered, what did we cover? We covered Tyson Fury, OMG. You see, it's a good thing we stuck around for those few extra seconds. Lisa Bayliss, very generous sponsor over here at the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, and much appreciation, Lisa. Lisa says, big up, Rafi. I say, big up, Lisa Bales. Much appreciation. And yeah, we've covered it all. We covered Tyson Fury. Let me hold on a second. I should really share that. We've covered Tyson Fury's new svelte shape. We've covered Tyson Fury's new waistline. Where is he? There he is, looking lean and mean. Lean and mean and getting ready to do the thing. So we covered that. What else did we cover? We covered Eddie Hearn. We covered Eddie Hearn talking about, hey, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we release the location, the date, the location of the undisputed fight. And of course, we talked about Bob Arum. Bob Arum talking about some cockamamie stuff about he's got to back up if Pacquiao and Crawford falls through. He's got some kind of backup. What some kind of cockamamie story was that? And of course, we talked extensively. We spoke extensively of Luke Shape, his suspect. Hey, he might be holding his belly in a little bit. Give the man a break. Give the man a break. And we spoke extensively of Deontay Wilder, Dillian White, Alexander Povetkin. So we did it all. Didn't we almost have it all? We did it all. And yeah, it was a good one. It was a great one. And some people have commented that Rafi's outros are longer than some other people's whole videos. And it's true. I just can't say goodbye. I can't say goodbye. So let's just say au revoir. Let's just say au revoir. Not goodbye. Au revoir and blessed.